there are 3 people waiting, so.
Do we have a technical glitch somewhere?
We are live right now on YouTube.
Okay.
But our link is broken to our website. So we are fixing that right now. We were just notified of this about a minute ago.
Do we have a technical glitch somewhere?
We are live right now on YouTube.
Okay.
But our link is broken to our website. So we are fixing that right now. Okay. We are getting there. We're getting there.
Are you finished with your meeting?
Okay, let's go ahead and get started, and I will hop off and turn my video off in just a second so I can go fix the link issues or assist with that process. But
Okay.
We are live. I'm sitting at the U.S. Sailing Center, and this is a boat dog to my left here. His name is Cashew. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is open to, sorry, one second, switch speakers. Yep. This is open to all competitors at this weekend's West Marine U.S. Open Sailing Series. And if you are also racing in Miami and caught word of this, welcome. We're going to pass it over to Chelsea Carlson from Sea Tactics, and we'll let her take it away.
Cool. Thanks, Allison. Hey, everyone. And hope this finds you well and healthy. Looked like a really nice day today down in Miami. So hope you guys got to enjoy that. So for the weather briefing, we are going to start with kind of a larger overview picture of what all is happening, what's causing the weather over the next few days. And then we will move towards a little bit more detail about each individual day over the weekend. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of model data just to help us visualize what all is going on. Okay, so what we are looking at here is the GFS model, and it's basically surface pressure, so we can see our highs and our lows. It's also showing us our surface wind speeds with these wind barbs, and the colors also represent stronger winds. Okay, so just to kind of orient you, this first time step that we're looking at is this evening. So tonight at about 8 o'clock, you can see that right now, basically, we are on the edge of this high pressure center. So it's kind of sitting right over Alabama, Georgia, and we are right on the edge of it, and it brought us some northeast east winds today. So basically what we're doing is we want to watch this high pressure and see how it tracks and how it moves over the next few days. This high is basically going to stick with us through the weekend. It's our one and only really weather feature that we have going on. So it's kind of a quiet weather pattern, but you know, it will still be interesting to get some changing wind directions, which I'll talk about. All right, so that's for this evening. If I scroll forward in time, this is overnight, and here we have 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we can see that the center of the high is very close to us, which is never great for having a lot of wind. So basically we have the axis of the high pressure, which is like its center area where the light winds are. So whenever you hear high pressure axis, think that's where the light winds are. The axis is basically oriented east to west across the state, okay? And if we go forward in time, we see that that axis shifts south, okay? So it's shifting closer to us. This is for tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. We can see that axis is right over top Miami, okay? So we're gonna have really light winds, especially at that time tomorrow. All right, I'll talk a little bit about what I think may happen tomorrow in a bit, but let's keep going forward just to get the big picture. So for tomorrow evening, that high is still sitting basically right over South Florida. We continue on into Friday. Okay, so now we're at Friday morning, and our high pressure you can see is across the Bahamas. So here it is right here where these light winds are. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. All right, so we've got real light winds again on Friday, but I do think that high is going to kind of push just far enough away that we'll start to get some gradient back in. So you can see the blue fills back in a little bit on Friday. Now, the other thing that we will start watching for the weekend is a really weak front. This front starts to show up around the Carolinas late Friday. And you can see, I'm going to draw a line there so you guys can see it. You can see that by Saturday morning, the front is kind of at the northern part of Florida. Okay, so this is the only other thing that's really going to bring any change to us. Right, so we're watching this front. We don't really know how fast it's going to be moving. The models are kind of all over the place on that, but it will be eventually moving southward. Okay, so you can see it's slowly sinking south. So for the beginning part of the day, Saturday, again, we have light winds because we're still under a little piece of that high. There's probably some northerly winds in the morning. And then we're just looking at how fast does this kind of weak front, we call it a backdoor front just because it is coming down faster down the East Coast than it is anywhere else. So a lot of times our fronts come northwest to southeast, but this one is coming east to west. Okay, so it's going to come down the East Coast first. They call that a backdoor front for whatever reason. So we continue on. This is for Saturday afternoon. You can see the stronger winds are slowly working their way down, but I don't really think they're going to make their way all the way down to South Florida on Saturday. There's a chance they might, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But then anyways, definitely by Sunday, that front does push all the way down with some like northeast to east winds. All right, nothing overly strong. We're still only at max like 12 knots. So still not a super strong, crazy front, but Sunday there will be, looks like a good bit of gradient wind. So we have at least a few isobars over our area, creating some gradient there. All right, so that is Sunday. So now I'm going to show you a little bit closer view of tomorrow, okay? Just because I like to look at the high resolution models. It gives a pretty good picture of what's going to happen. This is the Sailflow 2-kilometer model for Biscayne Bay area. So this is 8 a.m. tomorrow. So basically what happens is early in the morning, because the land cools off, we get a bit of a northwest or a north wind. All right, this is pretty common in the morning. So it looks like tomorrow we will have some breeze from the north in the morning. This has about 8 knots, but pretty rapidly as we go from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., it drops off down to 6 or less. Remember that as we go towards now 11 a.m. and 12 p.m., this is when that high pressure axis is coming right on top of us. All right, so quite light middle of the day. So we probably have a dying trend towards the midday period, maybe a small bit of, northeast or east looks like coming down in the bay into Bear Cut, but it will be pretty light. Now we'll kind of take a look into the afternoon. Things may change here as we get a bit of a southeast breeze. So when I go and show you the temperatures for tomorrow, you'll see there is a little bit of heating going on over land. So we probably will have a fairly light sea breeze that develops, at least in the bay, okay? When I say light, I mean, it looks like 3-4 knots, maybe 5. So nothing too crazy, but yeah, maybe this has 5.6 knots at 3 p.m., maybe up to about 6 knots through the afternoon. So it looks like a right trend and a little bit of a southeast breeze, okay? And this is as long as it's sunny. So we need the sun, we need that land to heat up to get this to happen. If there's too many clouds, it won't happen, but I do think it will be sunny tomorrow. All right, so this is kind of the idea for tomorrow. Now I'm going to switch over and kind of show you guys the details over the next few days, all right? Okay, so this is just a reminder of that big high pressure center over us. This is again tomorrow. So here's the breakdown that I have for tomorrow, okay, Thursday. Morning northwest wind, slowly diminishing into the middle part of the day and starting to veer, turning to basically a light southeast sea breeze, assuming that there's a good amount of sunshine, which I think there will be. Our high is near 75. And for reference, the bay water temperatures have been around 71 to 73. Okay, so it's right on the cusp of getting a sea breeze to develop. You need about 3 or 4 degrees warmer temperatures over land. Okay, so we're right on that cusp, but I think the gradient is light enough that it should happen as long as it's sunny. And so again, there's the reminder, too many clouds may inhibit the sea breeze. All right, but eventually in the later part of the day, it looks like 120 to 140 and then slowly veering, maybe getting up to like 6 to 8 knots. I put 8 knots. I think that was maybe a little generous at the end of the day at 4 o'clock. All right, so that is tomorrow. Now let's take a little closer detail at Friday. So again, remember that front is going to be well north of us. It's really slowly moving, so it's not coming to us until maybe Sunday. So Friday, again, more light winds. Usually in the morning, we're going to start with some kind of a west or a northwest because it's going to be blowing off the land. And on Friday, it's going to be really light in the morning. That high pressure axis is still sitting over us. So just a little bit of drainage wind from the cooler land, right? Then what we're waiting for in the afternoon is basically either another light sea breeze, because our high is around 77. So there will be, I think, enough heating for a sea breeze to develop. That's as long as we have sun, okay? If sunny, possible southeast sea breeze. If it's cloudy, which the models are showing there may be some clouds coming in, then we would have a light south or south-southwest wind, okay? So the models are a little split on exactly how much moisture is going to be in the air and how many clouds how much cloud cover there's going to be, okay? So we'll have to kind of fine tune a little bit on Friday, but still not much more than, 7 or 8 knots max. I would probably lean more towards there being clouds and light winds. So I've shown this, light south-southwest at 3 to 7 being a little bit more likely than the sea breeze because I think clouds are going to come in. All right. So Friday, we've got to keep our eyes on the skies a bit. Okay, so now going into Saturday. Saturday, you can see that front has pushed down a little further into Florida. So my map kind of changed from the last one, but still we're looking at a front just north of us, okay? And this is the day that we're not really sure if that front's going to be close enough to bring in a north wind or not, okay? I tend to think not because it's very weak. So I've sort of shown that front's not really going to make it, all right? So again, the morning is that light northwest wind. It's kind of gone into the west a bit, okay? It's warming up. So Saturday is much warmer day. Our high is 78. So it's not quite as Miami winter feeling. It feels a little bit more like maybe Miami fall. All right, so we have light winds in the morning. Again, we probably don't have a whole lot going on. We're waiting to see what happens in the afternoon. If that front does not come in with the northeast, then we would probably have a sea breeze because again, our temps are pretty warm. So I've shown the sea breeze situation happening more likely than that northeast breeze coming in, okay? So the sea breeze would be maybe up to about 8 knots or so, but it's later in the day, all right? So we have to think about that a little bit. It's not super early to develop because the land cools off a lot at night. So if we don't have the sea breeze, again, slight chance for that front to arrive. Again, that would only be northeast at maybe 6 to 11 knots if that front gets there. And that brings us to Sunday, which is kind of the most good news that we've had since this forecast started, which is that the front pushes through, all right? It looks like it's going to reach Miami and the Bay, and it will bring basically east and southeast winds as that high pressure settles down. All right, so this is our weak backdoor cold front. It will definitely be there by the morning time, or at least it looks that way right now. Basically starting with like an east northeast or an east wind, veering into the southeast as the high settles down. Right, our high is pretty warm still. It's not a cold front, real strong cold front. So our temps are not all that cool. Mainly it's just a wind shift with a little wind pressure. Okay, it's probably also going to be cloudy. So we do have to think about potentially a chance for a little shower or two. It's one of those days your eyes are going to be on the skies looking for potential showers and clouds coming in from the east. Okay. Yeah, and with that southeast wind, the more the wind turns into the southeast, the more moisture comes in and greater chances for clouds. But it looks like our wind speeds will generally be, much better than this previous few days. It's light in the morning until the front really pushes in. But by mid-morning, we've got 6 to 10 knots. And then in the afternoon, as it turns southeast, we've got up to 7 to 12. If for some reason the front's a little stronger than this, we could have a bit more wind. Same thing if the front is a little weaker, if it doesn't quite push as far south. So we kind of have to wait till we're a little closer in time just to see how strong that front ends up being. So overall, lighter wind regatta. Definitely going to have to, be looking on the water for visual clues, paying attention to clouds and what that might bring as far as wind goes. But yeah, overall, at least nice weather and pretty good temperatures. So are there any questions for me on anything? I think we'll be here for at least a few more minutes to answer some questions. And the next thing that you guys are doing is heading over to the skipper's briefing. So you guys should have a link. That's not starting till 6. So there's a few minutes left here that I will stay on and see if you guys have questions for me. I'm reading no questions so far. All right.
That was just such a thorough explanation. It stunned everyone. If you guys have questions, throw them in the YouTube chat, and this is your chance to ask Chelsea directly. This link will be, the link will hold this recorded video on our YouTube channel for eternity after we are done here. So if your friends missed this, tell them to hit up our YouTube channel. You can find this whole briefing. Other than that, make sure you have your link for the competitors meeting coming up. And we will hold out just a couple more minutes. But thank you, Chelsea. That was so wonderful.
Yeah, no problem. And good luck to everyone. I know the weather can be challenging sometimes, and sometimes that's the biggest challenge we deal with. But hope everybody has a good regatta.
Yeah. Mickey has a comment. He says, thanks so much. Hopefully that front comes in.
Yes, I will be also crossing my fingers for that.
Yeah. We need some better wind in these Florida days here.
Normally this event does have at least one breezy day. But yeah, it's been a weird weather pattern because there's been like a lot of fronts that almost get to us, but then they never really quite reach us. So it's a weird time of year.
And I think there's wind on either end of it, it looks like. But
yeah.
Not quite when we need it. But I mean, that's the sport. And, if
it could be worse. We could be somewhere up north.
Oh, absolutely.
Very cold.
Honestly, can't complain with beautiful Florida weather.
Yeah.
Any day on the water is a good day on the water, but super nice when we have good wind.
This is true.
All right, I think we might be good to wrap things up.
All righty.
Okay.
Good luck, everyone. Thanks, Allison. Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you, Chelsea. See you, Mickey.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Okay, we are out.
Cool.
Ooh, that was